So this video is about components and how to kind of document your components. So what we see here are B alerts, where the B stands for Bootstrap. So there are different alerts in Bootstrap. There's the alert danger, there's the alert info, alert success, and alert warning. So they all have their different colors. And the purpose of this guide, or the purpose of this page, is to kind of know what kind of alerts exist. So let's make a new alert and then add it to the style guide. So how you would typically do that is to go to your content, and then you would go to the SCSS. And because we're kind of extending alert, I might just first look into the source code of the alerts in Bootstrap. And here I find that there is this kind of mixing to make my own alert. So I'm gonna go in my own file, not in vendor, because we don't want to touch the Bootstrap core files. And maybe go into Bootstrap additions, my alerts file, and I will add at the top something like my own contextual variants. So additional contextual variants. Let's say we want an alert that is extra funky, so we will call it alert extra funky. And we will also need some variables: the extra funky background, extra funky border, and alert extra funky text. So we have these three variables which we will also need to define. So I like to do that in a settings variables file. And then, is this an override to Bootstrap? I guess it's more like a custom variable. So let's make a new section called custom variables, and then define alerts as being or define our three variables. So let's first kind of define what a funky alert looks like. So I'm thinking it's kind of like a 70s disco alert. So this purple looks good, but maybe let's make it a bit lighter. And then we have the borders, which should probably be a bit darker. And then the text on the alert should be, I guess, some purple or some variant of purple too, but kind of closer to a gray, so it kind of fits as a text. So we have these three variables which we can use in our code. So this color is 644 or something. So this is the text color, and then we have the fill color, which is here. And then we have the border color, which is this variable. So we have our custom variables for our funky alert. Let's line this up so it looks good. And then I kind of want to add this to the style guide. So let's make sure our file is saved here. And then I want to see what that looks like. So what I would do is go to templates, and then to patterns, and in patterns I will find all the patterns I have in my project. And I'm gonna copy one of those files and call it extra funky, B alert extra funky. And what I did was call it .alert extra funky. So if I go, I will now find my extra funky alert as a new component within the style guide. So I don't actually like this alert, and it was just for a demo. So if you remove it from the file system, so I just deleted that file, you will see that if you refresh the style guide, which should happen automatically, that the pattern will get removed. So the list that you see here at the left is kind of like every pattern I ever defined. So you have buttons, you have, for example, a list of forum elements and how these should work. And then the nice thing is that you can go in and see what the code looks like, copy it to your clipboard and use it in your project. So the way you would work with these components to keep a project consistent is to, for example, let's make a file test2.jade, and then if I make a file called test2 and I refresh my index page, it will show up here. And then going in, actually it contains some content that I don't need, so let's delete that and go to what I wanted to explain. So let's see that it actually extends master. So what I wanted to explain is, let's say you're making a form and you know that maybe you have radio buttons. You're kind of going into radio buttons. You're going to copy that code to the clipboard and paste it in. And then in your template, you will see that nothing shows up. Weird. Let's see what's going on here. I think I'm just extending the wrong element. So okay, so you will see that your radio buttons show up. So instead of always writing custom CSS, you're kind of going to your components, seeing if something is available. If something isn't available and should be documented, you would document it, and otherwise you would copy the code and use this in your template. So that's how you would work with the component style guide.